Welcome back to the A-Level English Guide. In this video, part 2 of our Language and Thought series, we're going to walk through a full essay plan based on a real Cambridge past paper. Paper 4, question 2 from May-June 2024. The task asks you to discuss what you feel are the most important issues raised in the text relating to the ways in which language can shape and reflect how individuals think about themselves and others. So, the key focus here is not just on language in general or identity in general. It's on how language both shapes and reflects identity and thought. That means your essay needs to zoom in on language features in the text and connect those features to theories of perception, cognition, and cultural reflection. The source text is taken from Psychology Today and is titled "The Power of a We." It explores the idea that pronoun use, especially the difference between I and we, can reveal and influence power dynamics, group identity, and leadership. The article explains that people in positions of power are more likely to use inclusive pronouns like we and us, while subordinates tend to use more self-focused language such as I and me. It also discusses how political leaders deliberately use we to promote unity, and suggests that audiences are more likely to respond positively when this kind of collective framing is used. In short, the article argues that pronoun choice is not random. It's strategic, and it has a measurable impact on how people think about themselves and others. That makes it a perfect fit for exploring language and thought. There are 4 major issues raised in the text that we can turn into strong essay paragraphs. First, language is used as a tool of power and leadership. Second, pronoun choice reflects social roles and identity. Third, inclusive versus individualist language affects framing and perception. And fourth, audience interpretation is shaped by linguistic choice. Each of these can become the foundation of a Peel paragraph, and we'll build our essay plan around them. Let's start with paragraph 1. This is where we apply the Sapir-Whorf hypothesis, the theory of linguistic relativity. The article shows that leaders tend to say we instead of I, in order to present themselves as part of a group rather than above it. Sapir and Whorf argue that language influences habitual thought. So when leaders choose certain pronouns, they aren't just expressing an idea, they're shaping how listeners think about authority, unity, and inclusion. In your essay, you might write, "The grammatical structure and pronoun choices in the text help direct the audience's attention, supporting the Sapir-Whorf hypothesis that language shapes perception." In paragraph 2, we apply George Lakoff's theory of conceptual framing. Lakoff would argue that even pronoun use can act like metaphor, shaping how audiences reason emotionally and morally. Saying we instead of I frames the speaker as collaborative and connected to the group. This builds trust and can even influence political persuasion. The article highlights how politicians intentionally use we to align themselves with their audience. In your essay, you could say, in the text, the writer's emphasis on collective pronouns reflects Lakoff's view that even subtle linguistic frames influence audience response. In paragraph 3, we apply Franz Boas's theory that language reflects cultural values. Boas believed that language encodes what a society finds important. The article describes how certain professions, like politicians, are trained to use we language because it's culturally associated with leadership, unity, and professionalism. That reflects an institutional value system embedded in the way people speak. In your essay, you might write, "The use of collective language in the text highlights Boas's view that language encodes cultural categories, in this case, valuing unity and shared identity." If you want to include a counterpoint or an optional paragraph, consider bringing in Steven Pinker. Pinker believes that thought comes before language. That language is a tool we use to express what we already think. From this perspective, a leader's choice to say "we" isn't shaping reality, it's just revealing an intention that already existed. So while Sapir-Whorf and Lakoff see language as shaping perception, Pinker sees it as reflective. This adds discursive balance. In your essay, you could write, "While pronoun use may frame the message, Pinker's view suggests that the speaker's intent predates the language, making it expressive, not manipulative." Your conclusion should summarise the argument. That language, especially something as small as pronoun choice, plays a powerful role in constructing both personal and social identity. The article clearly shows how leaders use "we" language to influence how others perceive them and to align themselves with a group. You might close your essay by saying, "Language doesn't just describe identity, it constructs it." According to the Examiner report, the best responses to this question focused on the relationship between language and leadership. They didn't just generalise about identity. They applied theory clearly and stayed tightly focused on linguistic features. Common weaknesses included over-focusing on gender, listing theory without linking it to the text, and vague or descriptive writing. So remember, use short, embedded quotes, link theory directly to language in the text, and maintain a clear, discursive structure. If you can do that, you'll be well on your way to a top-band response. That's your complete essay plan for Paper 4, Question 2, Language and Thought. In Part 3, we'll walk through a full Band 5 model essay based on this exact question. If this helped, give it a like and hit subscribe. Your next grade boost might just be one click away. See you in Part 3.